Tony T, yes, Ramon SEO. To the double TV funnel in these bookies like 1, 2, 3. They tapping out and we cashing out. It's plain to see. The morning scheme is the A-team, Mr. T. And I pity the fools who can't hang. Coming with real game is sort of a freight train. It's been reported bank rolls are easy to maintain. So get situated and listen to the picks. And it goes a little something like this.
And good morning, everyone, from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam for Tuesday, January 9th, the post-National Championship special. Today, as we talk about last night's big game, leaving the Washington Huskies battered and bruised with the Michigan Wolverines, winning the national championship last night. How'd you guys fare in the game? Thanks for all your picks and contributions yesterday, and hope you enjoyed the game. I know Michigan fans did. Oh boy, did they seem like they had the Washington Huskies scouted well in this one. What's going to happen? I heard some talk yesterday that maybe Jim Harbaugh had spent a little bit too much time interviewing for head coaching jobs. He hasn't even interviewed for the Raiders job just yet, but the Raiders are, of course, interested. That looks like the latest move. Other talk about, my Chargers maybe going after Jim Harbaugh. Well, I'd be surprised. This team doesn't spend money on head coaches. Yeah, maybe they're still paying some coaches that have left the organization, but those guys didn't make the money that Jim Harbaugh does. I wouldn't think the Chargers are going to spend money on a head coach again. They'll go, on the cheap, if you will, probably somebody qualified, ready to take the next step, but I'm probably a little bit overwhelmed and underpaid. You got to pay up in today's game to win. It feels like, hi everybody, how you doing out there? How'd you enjoy the 34-13 win for Michigan? They pounded them with Edwards on those big runs. Blake Corum, he was running early, he was running late. Michigan piled up 160-some yards in the first quarter on the ground, 300 yards rushing on the night, and 443 yards of total offense. And Penix was left grabbing his ribs, grabbing his helmet, grabbing other things, and just not a good night for the man who I thought was going to be the better prospect coming out of college over guys like Williams. We know that McCarthy is not going pro just yet, but man, he sure looked the part of the game manager. His coach touted him as the greatest college quarterback of all time. We know what you meant, coach. Winning percentage wise, McCarthy, not much better than this guy. Probably a Tebow type, right? I mean, great in college, probably not enough to make it in the pros, but nonetheless, great performance by him as well. Good, strong performance for the quarterback. And, of course, the 81-yard interception return in the fourth quarter really sealed the deal. Michigan 15-0. Congratulations. And Washington and the teams from the Pac-12, are they going to be up against it? When you look at some of these schedules next season involving Big Ten conference teams, it's going to be pretty awesome, actually, but daunting nonetheless. Hello, everyone. Want to say hi? Who's coming in to join me today for some previews of some games? We've got NBA. We've got college basketball. I picked 4 games. Probably should pick more, but I want to have the pick of the litter a little bit. Got to step it up in college basketball. And there is a pretty nice hockey card tonight as well. Teaser alert. If you just want to, if you don't have time to wait for the hockey, we know how, patient everybody is. But I like the Grand Salami over. So maybe some of my picks giving them away right there. Justin was here first today. Hello to my man, Justin. Great to see you. Looks like he's got picks for us early on. Thomas Bird here today talking about his night last night. Hello to Gimbal. Blake is here today. Nicholas bringing the good vibrations. Thomas says always like and smash. Make sure you get us some more follows and some people alert people out there. We're first live on YouTube with the day's action and information. Hey, I'm going to try to do this. I'm trying to figure out ways to serve you better. And so, how about the morning steam? I'm going to put the overnight college basketball steam on big cards like this in the Discord right now. If anybody wants to check it out, I put the Discord link in the chat, and you can go over there and see which games the professionals have moved on overnight. I'll try to cover from my perspective, whether that steam, at least in the four big games I've chosen, there are a lot of big games. I've kind of ignored the Mountain West a little bit today. Probably shouldn't. If you look at the top six teams now, this is a point where they start playing each other and there'll be some losses, but they escaped through the non-conference schedule and with some decent opponents. But look at the top six teams in the Mountain West. They have like a combined 10 losses, I think, or maybe it's a few more. I think one of them has 4 losses, but could the Mountain West put in 5 or 6 teams into the tournament? Who else is here? Bruce Green with some picks today. And how about the game last night? If anybody missed it, the late game, we'll cover some basketball here, but some late action from last night. If you missed it, the Los Angeles Clippers, they crushed the Phoenix Suns last night. Big O, hello. Great contributions on the college basketball stream I watched last night. I was hanging out in the chat with some folks, making some comments on the game as it went along. And we saw that disappointing news as we talk a little bit about basketball, I see here in the chat. But the disappointing news that came out during the game about Ja Morant missing the rest of the season with torn labrum. Good on Ja to get it on here with the surgery. Maybe it was going to be a little bit tough to overcome that slow start that Memphis had. Probably could have got to some playoff position the way Ja was playing, although it was kind of starting to go downhill again a little bit. Maybe they had just, got that energy, maybe a little bit of a lull. Maybe they were going to come back. But nonetheless, with Morant out and the injuries that they've suffered all season long, does feel like, man, really bummer here for these guys. Hello to Ray, Poppy, Fernando here today, Chad as well. And we'll see what we have in the international soccer realm today, but I can tell you it's going to be kind of another day off for the guys as far as that's concerned with the soccer schedule today. Did see oh man, there really wasn't much going on at all. An EFL Cup game, a Coppa Italia game, and did want to mention the international friendly today, Palestine and Saudi Arabia. It's kind of some more of a social statement game. Saudi Arabia, certainly a sympathizer of Palestine, as we want to be, of course, but nonetheless, there are some, that would think, okay, no political statements here, but all right. Here we go with go over to Tony'sPicks.com and see who did well yesterday. It's been a great start to the year for a lot of our handicappers on the website. Check it out. I want to promote all these guys here that are off to a good start right now. And who did well on Monday? Well, it was Daniel Wolosachuk with a 2-0 performance. It wasn't a big card yesterday. We talked about some of the winners. I had premium pick winners in the NBA with the Clippers yesterday and the Milwaukee Bucks as well. We gave the under for the national championship game here on the show. Tony's Picks VIP 3-1 yesterday. Ruben Marlborough, come to Marlborough country, 3-1 yesterday. Hollywood Sam 3-1. Ron Crawford, author of the Spreadsheet Play of the Day, 4-2 record yesterday. Chauncey Giles always on this leaderboard at 2-1. Tony T, 2-1 day yesterday, and probably Samba Murti was in the profit. Over the last 7 days, it's Mindy Hahn on top of the handicapper leaderboard, plus 17 units. Probably Samba Murti's up 12 units. Nick Lagaretto's up 10.5 units. Over the last 7 days, there's Ron Crawford up nearly 10 units over the last 7 days. And Gene got picks. Gene got winners. 9.5 units over the last 7 days. Last 30 days, Mindy Hahn, absolute smasher. 44 units of profit over the last 30 days here on the network. Tiffany Mance is up 37 units. Imagine that. The ladies are up 81.5 units over the last 30 days over at Tony'sPicks.com. Nick Lagarettos is up nearly 23 units. Gene got picks up 17.25 units. New to the site, but not new to winning. Man, look at Gene. And how about Mark Butterscotch Eubanks up 14.5 units? That's our man. For the year, you see the numbers. This is since the first of the year, so just a real good start to the handicapper this season so far. I would match these up with some of the other sites, certainly down the list right now at what other handicappers are doing. I've checked out. These are some pretty solid numbers matching up with other top cappers in the industry. Folks like Mindy Hahn at 21 units, Nick Lagarettos, 13 units, probably Samba Murti, 8.5 units, Tiffany Mance, nearly 8.5 units, Ron Crawford, 8.25 units, Tony's Picks VIP, over 6 units, Gene got picks, Chauncey Giles, Tim Irwin on that leaderboard as well for this year, plus 383 units, Joseph Schultz up 335, and these plays are based on $100 unit plays. Basically, these are picks. They're not rated in any 3-star, 5-star, 10-star, 50-star game of the years. These are picks one at a time. What you do with them is up to you. We just try to show a strong winning percentage and profit based on a $100 unit scale. Bet 100 to win X on a dog. Bet X to win 100 on a favorite. And that's how it works at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20% off all premium pick packages, including mine on Tuesday. We've got a 3-pack up there right now to get you started. And don't forget, check out all of our multi-game packs from our handicappers, all profit guaranteed. They must show a winning percentage, or you'll get your credits back to your Tony's Picks account. There, I've got a 3-pack on the hardwood right now, ready to go. Big hockey card. I'm going to dig into it with you here. Like I said, you want a free pick? I'm pretty sure I'll take the over in the Grand Salami today. Feels like that's where we're going when we get to the portion of the show that we have the free picks on. All right, a few more comments here, and let's get started with the picks because I see some more friends rolling in. Doubles is here. Oh, I saw these folks already. Sorry about that, you guys. Oh, Russell here, ready to go. Thank you, Russell. Nice to have you joining us today. And, well, all right, Perky, we see you. All right. And Thomas Bird here with his picks today. And Chad Colvin's here, of course. All right. Let's get rolling here on the show. I could talk more sports, but we want to get to the previews. That's what they have me here for. So it's lots of news, though, certainly in the NFL that I would like to discuss. But all right. Including one other thing here before I get rolling. Next year at this time, I heard today that there will be a sequence. I'm getting the banners up, everybody. I'm just stalling here, trying to find the right banner. But this time next year, on the weekend of around January 9th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, a weekend next year, exactly this week, will be Thursday, National Championship semifinal number 1 of the 12-game playoff. Friday, National Championship game number 2 of the 12-team playoff to decide the finals. Then you'll have Saturday NFL, 1 game. You'll have 3 on Sunday and 1 on Monday night. That's next year. But okay, I found it. Here we go. Let's get ready to roll with the Kings going up here against the Pistons. And you're going to have a big favorite, of course, with the Kings. Maybe playing a little bit better here again of late. A little bit of inconsistency, certainly, from the Kings right now. But, still a young team. Maybe we're going to expect that. For Detroit, we know what we're getting with them. Certainly, we're pulling for them every time, trying to find spots, maybe to get on them. I don't feel like this is necessarily one of them here at this point. Sacramento is already 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 trips here to Detroit over the last several years or so. Detroit has gone over in 4 of their last 5 games at home, and Detroit has gone over in 7 of their last 8 games overall. Of course, they're not very good defensively. And, well, the big news here came down yesterday as well. It certainly affected things, I would think, a little bit here with some let's see what did the injury report say here. Cade Cunningham is out right now, right? That's what we got, the bad news. I think he's going to be missing some time here. I don't know if that's necessarily even adjusted the line appropriately, but a knee problem that may be somewhat troubling for Cunningham. Russell says maybe they'll play better without Cunningham. So maybe, but man, 23 points a game on this team. I know we're looking, for a little bit more, defense, if you will, but still, I mean, a big contributor. He's been kind of funny, as young as he is, he's been kind of a stable voice a little bit, expressing some real reasoning as far as, trying to get through this little situation. So, but for me, it does feel like the Kings are feeling, I do like the Kings probably in this one, even laying these big points at this point. I'm going to have to take the Kings today to roll the Pistons. All right. And let's see here. Okay, Chad says it did open as low as 8.5, but I think that probably coincided right when it just seemed like yesterday when we got that news, right, about Cunningham. There was just about the time the lines were maybe the early lines, the early overnights had been down a little bit. Yeah, I don't think I have an injury designation for Fox. Am I misreading that? I'm showing Trey Lyles with a ankle injury right now is pretty much it. Salty says going to be a few too many points. Fernando's on the under here. All right, you guys. Take the Kings here, and I would imagine might be a little bit of trouble for Detroit, at least adjusting at this point. I can appreciate. Look, we already know they've already missing, Stewart as well for a little bit here. Not that that's a huge impact, but I think for Detroit moving forward, yeah, if Cunningham is going to miss an extended period of time here, we'll just have to see how Detroit. I mean, everything matters with this team right now. So, all right, we won't talk too much about them. I would just see if I could give the full story here. All right. Hayes moves into the lineup. Jaden Ivey definitely moves up in the points production area. Marcus Sasser and Alex Burks get their numbers pumped up a little bit. Those of you looking at props and Ninja. All right. Move on next to Timberwolves and the Magic here in this one. Good matchup of the two teams that I've been promoting this season as two good, improved defensive teams. It's proven. Someone was debating the actual defensive abilities of Minnesota. All I could do is kind of look at the numbers and see how this team has improved and developed into one of the top teams in the league. Certainly, right. I mean, maybe it's been a little bit fluky. Maybe it's been a little bit karma, good luck. I don't know, but nonetheless, I mean, they've continued to show out and perform well, and they're going up against another team that's done pretty well this season. I mean, defensively as well, big time improvement in the Magic. Orlando's been red hot at home of late. They've won now 11 of their last 13 games at home. Orlando's also covered 5 of their last 6 games. Minnesota's playing pretty great, but they 17-7, pretty strong. But that's actually a little bit down from their red hot start. Still, nonetheless, they've won 17 of their last 24 games. 9 of the last 13 meetings between these two in Orlando have gone over. That's a pretty big date sample size. That's like almost 15 years, I think, of games here. So maybe you don't put as much into that, but nonetheless, 9 overs and 4 unders, a little bit significant for Orlando. They also have covered 8 of their last 10 games. Minnesota's just covered 2 of their last 10. Minnesota's gone over in 12 of 19 road games, but Orlando has been pretty much an under team this season at home, 7-10 to the under. I don't know if that's a huge move there. Hey, here's Russell. He has Minnesota -5 in this one. Magic's Chad says these injuries continue to plague the Magic right now with no end necessarily in sight. Maybe that's why we're seeing this lineup as high as 5, but not only the numbers for Orlando right now, the players: Isaac, Ingles, Harris, Gary, Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner, all out for this game. And he thinks that obviously, let's see here. Hey, Justin's got some plays here as well. Rodney says he'll still take the Magic plus these points at home. Tone's got his college basketball play of the day in there. Thank you for stopping by, Tone. Big O says, still give me the Magic in the first half plus these points. Solo wants the over here, and so do I. I'm giving out the over in this one at 217 now. So it's actually gone down here a little bit, right? 217, and the number is about 5. All right. Let's see. Oh, Chad here with his comments on the game, saying you still have that revenge spot from what was the revenge? They haven't played this season yet, so maybe from back to last year, I guess. Tone's got another college game in there as well. Maybe Gamble just got a parking ticket while watching the show. I'm sorry. And for me, I'm on this over. All right, at 217. Blazers and Knicks action here for Tuesday night. You got the Knicks a 12-point favorite, and the total has been climbing here to 227.5, up a point and a half from about 3 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago when I did the graphics for this show. The Blazers have always fared pretty well against the Knicks. Now we know this is maybe a different Blazers team. They still haven't been the best, but this is a pretty big sample, actually, over a decade. But Portland, 16-6 straight up, the last 22 meetings against New York. Knicks have won 6 of their last 7 games at home currently. Total has also gone under in 5 of New York's last 6 games. Total in this series has gone over in 4 of the last 6 trips here into New York. The Knicks continue to cover nicely at home with an 8-5-1 spread record at home. Portland's actually been okay, 10-9 against the spread on the road. It's just a matter of, do they have enough bodies here, and can they catch the Knicks in a little bit of a lull, a nap, if you will, here, laying these double digits. Here's Solo says, give me the Blazers and the under. And Russell says he's willing to take the Blazers as well here. This would be a case, I guess, where the Knicks overlooking um, overlooking the Blazers a little bit. But remember, the Blazers they're still a little bit short-handed with some of their personnel, including DeAndre Ayton, doubtful for this game. Uh, Thibault is questionable, and Jabari Walker is questionable as well. But they did get some key players back recently that were missing games in the lineup. So you still got probably a decent matchup. I mean, one area where the Knicks do struggle at a few positions defensively. There's no doubt about it. I mean, a guy like Simon should be able to have a pretty decent game here, I would think. Even Grant could have a decent game here. Kamara continues to look okay here. I think you guys might get the feel I'm willing to take some of these points here. Yeah, the Knicks are playing better. What was oh man, they talked about um well, since the trade that it appears to have helped both teams, but okay, let's see here. Any more picks on this one? I'm going to take the Blazers. Chad says the Knicks lineup is great now. He loves these guys here: Brunson, Ananubi, Randall, Hartenstein. I mean, he loves Hartenstein. DiVincenzo, that's his guy. That's Chad's great lineup that he loves. So, but he does say that they'll probably overlook the Blazers. And yeah, OG is good. But so who is it? One of the guys though, Ananubi. They, he's been playing very well, right? But I guess who is the one of the players hasn't been playing from the trade, right? Uh, I didn't look into the minutes. Russell says the Knicks are the public bet. They're the public side in this one. Like everybody's going to try to roll because the news has been positive. I'm going to take the Blazers here. All right, let's move on. Hope I didn't. Knicks will dominate. No big man for Portland, says Thomas Bird. Yeah, I mean, Reith isn't going to be able to do it, much probably. But again, going up against Hartenstein, what a matchup. Okay, I think I got all your comments in there. Thomas says, Scoot ain't going to be able to stop Brunson. But, Brunson's got a pretty good matchup, certainly against Scoot. All right. I'll give you that. But I'm going to go. Hey, I don't want. Yeah. For me, if I'm going to play props, I'm going to go over with Grant and then Simons and maybe Kamara. But I'll go over with Brunson. I'll probably go over with DiVincenzo. But tell you what, I'll probably go under on OG. All right, let's take a look here. Next up, Grizzlies and the Mavericks in this one. And the Mavericks have been the team on the move here after that other key news yesterday with Ja Morant, obviously out for the season. Feels a little bit demoralizing even at this point because of the momentum that Ja had brought to the team, even though they went on a losing streak again kind of after the awesome start and awesome performances from Ja, rejuvenating the team and getting everybody hyped up again. I think it's going to be look, Dallas isn't the team you necessarily want to lay points with, and hopefully Memphis can rally around right now, but I don't know if I can take them here in this one. With Dallas today, I might prefer to lay the points, actually. Dallas has covered 5 of their last 6 games. This is a big number to lay, so hopefully Memphis can show some guts here. I'm going to take Dallas. We'll see what Chad has in there, but a total has gone under in 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams in Dallas. Memphis has gone over in 5 of their last 6 road games. Memphis has been a decent cover, and we know on the road, and we know that no jaw for most of those. They're uh, 15-21 against the spread overall. Not great, not good, but 11-9 against the spread on the road, and also 10-13 against the spread as a dog. Nothing special. Dallas has gone over in 10 of 18 at home. Memphis over in 11 of 20 on the road. I think it's more significant, maybe the series history between these two. And let's see what you guys are up to. I'm going to go back to the comments in this one and see what you guys have. Yeah, and Chad says feels like demoralizing, and Russell says they beat the. Yeah, they won. They won some games. They and again, I think if anything, right, they had other injuries too as well throughout, right? I mean, we know that Bain had missed time, a few games in and out, and we know that they've already had decimating injuries from the start of the season. And Luca is back, but no Lively, no Exum tonight. Maxi Kleber's been out for a while now. Grant Williams probable here in this one, and Luca. Hopefully he's better now with that ankle turn. And R. Toms likes the over here in this one. I just couldn't get to the total. So let me go ahead and take the Mavs here and see how the Grizzlies respond. It just seemed like early on in the season, right? You talk about all those losses they had. It was going pretty bad there for a while, waiting for Ja to come back. I mean, remember this team right now, with just 13-23, and we know how poorly a start they had here in this one. So, all right, these two teams have already met a couple of times this season, 3 times already this season. Dallas has won. All the road teams have won every time. Dallas 120-113 in the last matchup on December 11th. Memphis won at Dallas 108-94 on December 1st, and back in October, Dallas won at Memphis 125-110. All right, I'll take the Mavs here. Raptors and Lakers in the nightcap here tonight, and the Lakers surprised everybody, including me. Or I don't know, maybe some of you did have the Lakers in that game against the Clippers. I felt like the Clippers were going to blast the Lakers. When it seems like the Lakers want to start pointing fingers and pointing blame and doomsday scenario, they usually don't bounce back very well, right? But they did against the Clippers, so maybe the Clippers will start clippering here soon. The Lakers, though, a 5-point favorite here against the Raptors. And I don't know, I kind of want to get on the Lakers here in this one. And I've been, really rolling with some of these Raptors games here of late, but I don't know if it's a great spot. Now, that has been a great spot in the past for Toronto. They've owned the series with the Lakers. They've won 7 of the last 8 trips in here into LA. I always like that, but man, the market really feels like they want the Lakers here. That's what it feels like, a market play coming on for me. They've also covered 7 of the last 8 meetings. They were dogs in a lot of those games against the Lakers, even though maybe they were, a little bit better of a team. But last time these two teams met here, it was the Lakers that won 122-112. It was last March, but just to make sure, because Toronto had won a lot of the meetings before that, Lakers have actually won 2 of the last 3. Remember, these two teams are only going to meet twice a season, so it's a little bit of a long-term sample. But no doubt that franchise has felt comfortable when coming into LA. Toronto right now has won 3 of their last 4 games, covering in those wins against Golden State on the road, Memphis on the road, and before that, Cleveland at home. Their one loss of late came at Sacramento 4 days ago. The Lakers come in having snapped that losing streak against the Clippers. They beat them 106-103 as a 4.5-point dog. Let's get your pick or comment on this game with the Lakers laying points. Man, All right. We've got Russell take the Raptors on the money line. It does. I mean, it's hard because the Lakers are a team you kind of want to go, oh, they just played well. Let's go against them this time. They just played bad. Let's take them. I know that kind of goes against what I was saying about, but I'm talking about the infighting or whatever was going on this past week with LeBron sitting there in his chair telling us how bad the team is. What? Okay. Raptors roll for Chad. So sounds like Chad wants to take a challenge. Yeah, I'm hoping that this isn't the train wreck that it appears to be. I'm a little bit motivated by that performance against the Clippers. I mean, where did that one come from? They want me to take the Lakers. All right, well, sign me up. I'll take the Lakers here in this one. Chad's got it as play of the day. Take the Raptors here in this one. Yeah, it says going to be too much with the guard play here. Quickly's got a great matchup, certainly against a guy like Reeves, and RJ Barrett does too. But Toronto's not the same defense. I'm going to need Reeves, LeBron. I still got to go through the whole LeBron Davis thing later on too. Don't forget. So maybe those guys will be out, and it'll actually be a pick 'em or something. Yeah, for sure. But no, I think you look, LeBron. I don't care, what they want to do with Siakam. LeBron could. It's just a matter of with LeBron. Does he want to play this one or not? I mean, he takes half the games off. I guess they're going to be content with that NBA Cup and maybe squeaking into the playoffs. Maybe. How about Utah and their climb right now, passing Golden State? Go Jazz! All right. Yeah, but the Clippers had won. The Clippers had won. Russell, what's their current win streak? I mean, they're one of the hottest teams in the league, and maybe they took the game off against the Lakers. They probably were reading the same headlines, right? All right, me against everybody here tonight. Go Lakers! Let's go! Let's roll these guys. Come on, LeBron. Come on, AD. Be ready. We'll get the status of those guys a few hours before the game, probably in this one. Uh, doesn't seem like I wouldn't think either of them would miss. LeBron on the list. LeBron is actually the one that's questionable. I think AD is actually probable now. So Otto Porter will miss this one for the Raps, and oh no, he's doubtful. Jacob Podol is out for this one. All right, you guys, thanks a lot for your contributions on the NBA card. And we'll look, I've got 4 college games, and you guys have been great at suggesting a few games to go over. I wish I was giving out some good winners on those. Let's take a look at my favorite games of the day in college basketball. Starting with Texas at Cincinnati. And for me here, I think what stands out, I don't know if you saw, in the mix of all the football this weekend, but Cincinnati had a real nice performance against BYU. BYU had been one of the top teams, probably still are one of the top teams in the country, and Cincinnati did a real nice job against BYU. We're going to talk about BYU as one of the games here in just a little bit. But Cincinnati beat BYU 71-60 on Saturday for their first win of the season in the Big 12 Conference. That was a matchup of 2 new Big 12 basketball teams, Cincinnati and BYU. And BYU right now probably in the top 10 or so, and Cincinnati about a top 40 now, apparently, with that win. They keep moving up a little bit and got that first conference win of the season. And they're on a 4-game winning streak right now. Cincinnati with losses so far this season to Xavier and also to Dayton. for the Longhorns. They come in with 3 losses right now. Texas lost their first conference game of the season on Saturday at home, 78-67 against Texas Tech. Not supposed to be losing that game, but they are starting the season here with a 0-1 conference record. Cincinnati favored by 5.5. The totals dropped a half a point or so to 45 to 145.5. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about, Texas's struggles certainly on the road with some of these games. They lost at Marquette 86-65, and that was their only true road game thus far this season. And now you got to go in and play a pretty good Cincinnati team, and Texas is just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games and 4-10 against the spread overall. Cincinnati hasn't been great against the spread with just a 6-8 spread record, laying a lot of points so far this season. But at least at home, they are 5-5 against the spread. Total's gone under in 4 of Texas's last 6 road games. Cincinnati's a monster right now at home, having won 17 of their last 18 games. But note, just 1-4 against the spread at home in their last 5 games. So despite that 5-5 spread record at home, they have failed to cover in 4 of their last 5. Still Texas 2-5 against the spread. Their last 7 games on the road, dating back a little bit. Talked about those road game. The one true road game. They also had a neutral site loss to Connecticut. All right. Anything here on this one? Let's take a look and see if you guys have anything. Nope, just talking a little bit of pro still there. So that's why I'm going to maybe go with less college game. It seems like we don't have that much interest. But hey, Terrell's here today. Appreciate you, sir. He's got Cincy by double digits in this one. Says horns are overrated. Have you ever seen? I don't want to scare anybody, and this isn't. I don't think this qualifies for. This video is about to be like, I don't want to trigger anybody with any, with all due respect, with any react. But have you ever seen me do Texas Longhorn horns on this show? Do you know what happens? All right, Justin's going to take the horns here, plus 5.5 in this one. Did anybody? Hope I didn't scare anybody there. I'm going to take the under here in this one for sure at 145.5. Give me the under, Texas and Cincinnati as my play. And where's my pen? Poppy, did you like that? Or did you like my play on the under? All right. Let's go with the under 146. I'll let you guys pick the side here, at least in this one, if you'd like. Thank you, Big O. I think we're in the college portion, so I will show. Again, if I don't show your plays, I'm just trying to keep it organized a little bit, but Big O's got his plays in here today. Thank you, Big O. We'll talk about a few of those, so just look at those if you want from Big O. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next up, Houston and Iowa State. Oh, boy. Look at this one. With the Cougars on the road here against the Cyclones. But, man, that total, 132. What are they playing, 60 minutes? Man, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I don't know basketball very well. I just feels like to me this is going to be crazy low. Here's the thing with Houston games, and maybe you, whether you struggle with them or maybe you exceed with them, and I don't know, maybe you're just thinking about the side because Houston just seems like they get off to a great start and then get into a few tough environments like it could be here at Iowa State tonight and run into a little bit of a buzzsaw. But for me, I'm always trying to figure out on the total because a lot of matchups, Houston, it can be, this could be This could be 54-48 if it works out correctly, I would think. Houston's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games on the road, but Iowa State has gone over in 5 of their last 6 home games. Of course, I think series history, it could be. Well, I don't think there is much of a series history between these guys given this situation, right? Uh, anyways, Houston has won 5 straight games on the road. Iowa State's won 5 straight games at home. I think one of those dates back to last season, though, for Houston. Hasn't been all this season, but Houston here, look, they could be number 1 in your book. They've got the nation's longest winning streak here at 14 games. They're 8-5-1 against the spread, but 1-4 against the spread on the road this season, or on the semi-road a little bit, I think is what they want to call it. They haven't fared quite as well in some of those games. Some close calls against the spread. I mean, they're taking care of business in a lot of these games, certainly. Houston is 4-10 to the under this season. I mean, they are, number 1 defensive team in the country on all those metrics, if you will. So, but it just sometimes you get into a situation here like against an Iowa State team, and it's a bit of a buzzsaw. Now, Iowa State did lose at Oklahoma, failed to cover. So, if you want to start measuring a little bit conference play, Houston comes in 1-0, Oklahoma's 0-1. They also have losses this season to A&M and to Virginia Tech. And, they played a pretty easy schedule too. We make fun of Houston, but I mean, this Iowa State schedule hasn't been anything special, especially of late. Wins over New Hampshire, Eastern Illinois, Florida A&M, and Prairie View. They did club Iowa at home. They drubbed them. They drubbed the Hawkeyes. Remember that? They beat them by 25 points a month ago at home in kind of their toughest test so far this season. They passed that one. Their games against Virginia Tech and Texas A&M, while they were probably should have performed better in those games, they were two tougher. Their other 2 tougher games. How's that? So for the Cougars, I mean, they played their share of cupcakes as well, but they've beaten some of the good teams they've beaten are, we say sometimes that Houston kind of beats up on a bunch of teams, runs up a big schedule. Some of these wins aren't awful, certainly. A&M, Xavier, Dayton, Utah. Yeah, they played some real cupcakes. They beat West Virginia in the conference opener on Saturday, 89-55 at home. Houston got off to a rocking start. So Iowa State had been on a winning streak before they lost to Oklahoma with those games that I mentioned. They'd also been covering them. Now, Houston, on this current stretch, they have covered 3 straight times coming into this one. All right, Perky says he's got it as a Houston spot to roll, to stay undefeated, to stay number 1. Do you have him number 1? I think everybody's got him number 1 at this point with the winning streak. Doubles, thank you for your college picks here today. And Terrell says these are the spots you want to, if you want to play Houston, maybe to get them at the best price possible. This might be the one. Justin's on Iowa State here. All right. And I'm on the under. I'm looking, if you guys, do you look at it as if if Iowa State, who does play a few more overs, I mean, still they might, but and Iowa State's probably a top 20 team right now, certainly. But is Houston really always so strong that they can play that Houston pace? I think they like the low. Now, granted, they are able to put up some points here, but look, some of these games they've held opponents very, very low. Even some, Ivy League team like Penn. Now they beat them by 39. They held them to 42. Held Texas State to 37. But let's look at some of those other games. Xavier scored 60. Dayton scored 55. Utah scored 66. I'll take under. I'll side to the like Houston will play their game. Iowa State's had in their losses, right? So Houston is favored still. Iowa State in their losses: 63 against Oklahoma, 69 against Texas A&M, 62 against Virginia Tech. Okay, Thomas Lewis says, "Give me the Cyclones." All right. Another one here with a BYU and Baylor. This is a good matchup. It feels like to me. I'm big on the Baylor Bears still, and probably have not learned my lesson quite yet, but I still look to the growth of the team, and maybe BYU isn't all that. Hopefully, they're not, but that's just a personal bias. I'll be on BYU, and you know, 50% of the time, I would imagine. But man, I mean, the Bears here at home against BYU. I mean, I'm just trying to, pump the Bears up, and maybe they can continue to progress here. They are 12-2 right now. So is BYU at this point, but Baylor 7-1 against the spread at home so far. BYU's been one of the best spread teams in the country, however, with an 11-3 spread mark this season, laying the points every single time. I believe so far in that 12-2 record. Does that make sense? Total's gone over in 6 of the last 9 BYU road games, but they haven't played too many on the true road yet so far this season, although we did just mention the game against Cincinnati. That was an upset at home. The loss was at Utah, 73-69. So that was really the only true road game. They had some neutral site competition as well. Wins over Arizona State, NC State, and Fresno. So for the Bears, they come in with a 3-game winning streak. They're off of a conference win here over Oklahoma State on Saturday, 75-70 in overtime. The Bears covered the spread in that one, laying 4.5. They also covered against Cornell, and they covered against Mississippi Valley, laying 40.5 points. So Baylor took care of business. Their losses were to some pretty formidable opponents back in December. Remember the games against Duke. They lost that one 78-70 at the Garden, and they also lost to Michigan State by 24 points. So, lost to 2 basically top 20 teams. They also have a win over a strong opponent. Remember, they opened the season with a win over Auburn, and they've also beaten Florida. All right, Baylor tends to go over just a little bit. They're 5-3 to the over at home. They won 5 straight at home, covering the spread in each of those contests. BYU though 4-1-1 against the spread on the road. Road and neutral games though so far for BYU have been, I believe, all unders so far. So I do like the under in this game. I mean, I might be tough to swallow here, I think, a little bit at 154, and I might like the side a little bit. Maybe you could tell. So let me take the under here in this one and figure that maybe BYU is not all cracked up to be. Anything from the crew here? Berkey says Baylor didn't look that good in their last game, but they're a good club. Yeah, it did take a little bit of work to beat Oklahoma State, certainly. And Terrell says Baylor rolls, doesn't matter what sport it is. All right, and I've got one more, unless you guys have. I mean, there are some nice matchups. Like I said, the Mountain West Conference schedule is pretty nice tonight. It's my favorite conference, so I don't want to bore anybody with it. Everybody makes fun of the Mountain West, but Duke and Pittsburgh in this one as my other late feature here, the ESPN late game tonight, with the Panthers here at home, a 10-5 record thus far in this one, but Duke also coming in with a pretty decent record here at this point, with just a couple of losses so far, 10-3 or 11-3 so far this season for the Blue Devils. All right. Pitt comes in having lost two of their last three games so far. Just a 1-3 start for the Panthers in ACC play. They did get a win though at Louisville. We had them as a premium pick this past weekend, laying 8.5 against the sorry Cardinals. But before that, they failed to cover in losses against North Carolina as a 4-point dog at home, and they also failed to cover against Syracuse as a 1.5-point dog on the road. Other losses this season for Pitt include losses at home to Missouri, to Clemson in the ACC opener, and they also lost a preseason tournament game against Florida. For Duke, they come in here now on a pretty solid winning streak at this point, having won 6 straight games, including back-to-back conference wins coming into this one against Syracuse and against Notre Dame. Now, they got the money against Syracuse in a 20-point win, laying 14, but they only beat the Irish by 8 points. Notre Dame hasn't been that great this year, but Notre Dame got the money in that one, getting 14.5. Duke has had some struggles on the road so far. Those games against Arkansas and the road game at Georgia Tech in their conference opener, which was a loss. Obviously, they failed to cover the spread there. That was a big shocker in that one. The other loss for Duke came in game number 2 of the season against the Arizona Wildcats. So Duke has had some issues certainly on the road so far. Pitt, though, 0-3 against the spread as an underdog so far this season. I don't know if I can formulate any trends here necessarily. Thurman's going to have another game for us. Appreciate that. I think we can get to that one and at least come up with a selection. Thomas does like the Panthers here in this one. I'm going to just default to the total again here and go over. Pittsburgh has produced a few more overs this season, going 9-6 to the over thus far. And 5 straight meetings between these two teams have gone over. Duke has pretty much dominated the series, having won 8 of the last 9 games. Still, Pittsburgh, despite a few woes here, have won 15 of their last 19 games at home. Big O says, give me the Pitt team. That's just another game there. Thank you, Big O. Saw the P, I guess, so to speak. Duke here, the meeting last year here the last meeting here in Pittsburgh, these two teams did not meet here last season. Last season's meeting was, they met twice last season. Both times Duke won 77-69 and 96-69. They got the money in one and not the other. Terrell says Duke is a great over team on the road. All right, it's good enough for me, my friend. Let's take the over Duke and Pitt tonight. All right. Perky with a play here today. He likes Mason. Thank you, Perky. He likes Mason to lay 3 points today against VCU. Mason's been pretty terrific, obviously, with a 13-2 record right now. VCU, maybe not VCU-like at this point, with an 8-7 record this season. I will note the total on the VCU game has been shooting up. In fact, right now, I think it's starting to take a little steam here with VCU and Mason. I'm showing this total up to 141.5. This thing opened as low as 138.5 at DraftKings yesterday. I've already seen a 3-point move to the over on pretty heavy over volume. And Poppy here with a few more plays. Thanks, Poppy, for picking me up here on the Mountain West a little bit. I just figure the games are going to get pretty tighter, and we're not going to go too long on the show, but let's talk about San Diego State here. He does like the under here in this one. I would almost say hang out, Poppy. I'm seeing already a 139 out there, 139.5 at South, 139.5 out there. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure if they're the. I'm not sure I can read the movement necessarily here from this point. Obviously, it's gone up slightly here today, and also Air Force Nevada first half under. Remember, it's Nevada that comes in right now with a 14-1 record, kind of captivating everybody's attention, and this total continues to drop. Poppy talking about the first half under. I'm showing Bovada already down to 131 here on Air Force and Nevada. And wow, so that's been a big dropper here today. Interestingly, if you know what I mean, because it opened as high as 134.5 with a slight juice to the over at Bovada. Most of the openers came 132.5. All right, a few others. What do we got here? Uh, Creighton and DePaul, because Thurman is a glutton for punishment. When you talk, DePaul is so depressing to watch. Really, I mean, not just they're just so we know they're bad, but it's almost like when can this team show any progress at all and look like any maybe it's just because I'm old and you want DePaul to be so good, but when you're 3-11 straight up and 4-10 against the spread, you wonder who's got those tickets in their back pocket. Creighton has won 5 straight times here at DePaul. Total's gone under in 4 of the last 6 meetings here at DePaul. Uh, Here, when DePaul is at home, DePaul has gone under in 4 of their last 5 games at home. Creighton's gone under in 7 of their last 10, and 4 of their 6 road games this year have also gone under here with these two teams. All right. And let me just notch the line movement here a little bit with this one definitely moving towards the over here. Open as low maybe as 140.5 and is up to 142 now. It looks like 3/4 of the tickets are rolling in on the over here. I'm not buying it. I mean, I'm not buying it. DePaul, I mean, okay, maybe Creighton runs up a big number, but what's DePaul going to get? Maybe I should be laying the points here with Creighton. I just think they can really dominate defensively in this one. I'm going to take the under. I think Creighton rolls and DePaul could get left. Um, I guess 80 to 60 is still an under. Can Creighton score more than 80 points on the road in this one? Given some of their road performance, they scored 77 at Georgetown. Georgetown is certainly better than DePaul, so maybe Creighton can roll it up a little bit bigger. They scored 85 against Alabama at home, although they didn't cover 7.5. DePaul uh, gave up 85 at Connecticut. That was 141 still, but it did go over 138. But they only scored 48 points against Villanova. They only scored 46 points against Northwestern, and that was at home. So can DePaul even get close to 60 points against a team like Creighton? DePaul is so bad. Oh, it's just tough, man. It's tough. All right. Oh God, Terrell. God, I love this. I just want to throw back the clock here and read this. Go into Caliente, then you go to Senor Frogs, and you could get on the Pac-10 WAC conference ball games with a $2 Dos Equis beer. My God, Terrell, we're like blood brothers here, you and I. Um, Man, that's all. I'm going to show. I want to keep doing this. Thanks for reminding me that. I'm going to bring it here maybe tomorrow. Now I can think about this. I'm going to bring an article that was written about the first day of sports betting at Caliente, and I was quoted in the article. I'm going to bring that and show it on screen. Maybe hopefully tomorrow I could find that article. Of course, I was quoted because I knew the reporter. I'm like, "Hey, Jerry, what are you doing here?" I'm writing a story about the first day of sports betting. All right, Rodney. Here, Terrell, I could tell. I mean, I used to make it a Sunday night ritual. I'd go down to Tijuana to watch the Sunday night football games at a couple of famous bars in a place what they call. I know Terrell. I don't hear on with Perky and Terrell, but I don't want to be too distasteful on our Tony's Picks YouTube channel. I went to a couple of special bars that you could find in the Zona Norte portion of town, if you know what I mean, brother. Am I right? Let's take a look. That's it. I think that's it for me in college. Oh, one more comment here was from Salty Fly Guy. You want to know about the Wildcats tonight? Let me see if I can. It's not too busy of a schedule here. They're traveling into Morgantown and the big, a little bit of a move here, I'd say, to West Virginia. Maybe it opened as high as 3.5 for Kansas State on the road, and now they're down to 1.5, maybe one, maybe even one. So Kansas State just a slight favorite here. The total's definitely moved higher from an opener as low as 139.5 up to 142. Look, the Steam has been smashing on the over, certainly in this game, but there has been some significant buyback here for the most part. I think Salty's looking for the side here in this one. I'd probably go ahead. Man, it's close. It's close. Ooh, can I just pick you? I'm not. I'm not. I don't think I'm. I don't think I'm willing to do it on Kansas. I don't think I'm willing to pull the trigger on either team at this point. I respect the move at this point. I could give out the total. I think I like the total more. Oh, okay. All right, Salty. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Look, there was a little bit of steam that came in on West Virginia. The widely reported steam, which you can check out in the Discord right now, did come in on the over at 140.5. It's pretty strong steam here. I guess I can respect this steam. I'll give out the over. I'm gonna kind of tail this. Believe me, the buyback is pretty sharp on the under in this game. It just feels like the over money came in really, really strong. What are the percentages here? Uh, See, 62, 6, I'm showing 62% of the tickets and 96% of the money on the over, and that over money is usually pretty good, but discrepancies like that also give a little bit of value to the under. So tough on this one. All right, Gerardo, that's okay. You get kind of the day off here today again with at least in soccer. I know you'll be firing away in NHL period betting as well, but the soccer is going to be kind of light today. Maybe you could give us Middlesbrough and Chelsea as the big featured matchup, but maybe Fiorentina and Bologna. And I said, hey, how about the game friendly between Palestine and Saudi Arabia? All right, let's get to the NHL tonight. It's pretty big cards. We better roll here with this one. Thanks, you guys, for being with me here. Tony sent me a nice, and I'm going to take a break right now, just a little 15-second break. And I want to improve this, but Tony sent me a nice little, you've seen this before, but this is going to at least be back. All right, got ready for you here. A little hockey action here tonight, and appreciate that, Tone. I didn't do you enough respect there with that text, but I just kind of threw it together there because I like to have at least something there when I'm taking a little bit of a water break. All right, let's get rolling here in the NHL with the Kraken taking on the Sabres here in this one. Kraken coming back to life here, certainly, with a kind of getting back to the road Kraken a little bit. And that's good news. I mean, that's kind of what kind of made their season as successful as it was last year. I like road teams. If they can continue to, establish themselves on the road, I think we already can respect everything the Kraken's done as a franchise so far in their existence. Seattle has won 5 straight games now. They're pretty hot once again. They've also gone under in 5 straight. Buffalo's gone under in 4 of their last 5 and 10 of their last 15 games at home. Kraken also, I think they're 8-0-2 in their last 10 overall. I don't know if that's right. Maybe let me check some of those games out here. I'll bring up the schedule a little bit. I mean, we know we have the last win over Ottawa. They look good in that one. They look great against VGK. They beat Philly. So just a good run here, certainly for the Kraken. And for the Sabres, they are also on a little 2-game winning streak here. Check out the goalies over here, you guys. Thank you. The Sabres have won 2 straight on the road here. Now they return home, but they won against Pittsburgh and they won against Montreal. So a little bit of a good stretch here, certainly. These 2 teams have been solid dead unders. I already mentioned the 2 teams combining to go under in 9 of their last 10 games combined, 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. It even goes deeper than that. Seattle's gone under in 8 of 10. Buffalo's gone under in 9 of 10. Buffalo mentioned that home run of unders here. And, thanks, Salty. Yeah, maybe, sometimes I write the record down and then I, go with my brain a little bit sometimes. So I might have I know points are kind of like the thing that people like. Maybe we'll start just saying how many points they have but there are just some teams that play so well to get to overtime. Sometimes some teams are making a living off some of these overtime and shootouts, and some of them don't go to overtime or shootouts at all. It's crazy. All right. It doesn't look like we have much from the crew here yet on this one. Maybe you just get rolling on NHL. Again, Gerardo, if you can pay attention to what he does, some of his work with period betting and his live betting, you see he's got the bet in Turkey here for this morning. But Gerardo, extremely sharp in live betting, kind of tough. You got to put your notifications on. I don't know if he's done too much with period betting, and I don't want him to. I'd like to get some more action in there in the Discord so Gerardo doesn't feel like he's not being heard. But I think he's taken it by the horns and kind of adopting that we can get that rolling in there. Maybe I got to start putting more info in the Discord to attract the eyeballs in there, because we certainly can give some good information. I've got a ton of information to pass along to you. Just need the format to do it in. All right. Anyways, let me get rolling here with the pick for me, and I'm going to end up here on the Kraken, of course. Go Kraken. All right, the Kings are on the road taking on the Lightning at $1.20 here. And the total is 6 over 30. Maybe it's starting to climb up here a little bit with Talbot and Vasilevsky. Neither goalie confirmed just yet. We'll say Martin Jones is confirmed in that other game, in the game with the Leafs today. Martin Jones confirmed as goalie for the Leafs. Sharks, we didn't know if it's Kakkonen or whoever it is going to be. But I think what you're going to hear in the Kings game today, is probably thinking that the Kings might be at a decent enough price here to take against the Lightning today. I think that's what you'll hear. A lot of talking heads to me are going to be on the Kings in this one. Now, the Kings have had very big trouble in this series with Tampa Bay over the years. No doubt about it. Tampa Bay has won 11 of the last 12 meetings against these two teams. Now, the last Kings win came last season. It was last October, last season in 2022. Kings won at home 4-2, but Tampa Bay has won 5 straight meetings here at home against the Kings. But man, they're almost all 1-goal games. Kings are 4-1 on the puck line on the road against Tampa Bay. So it's almost been a 1-goal game every time. Now, these two teams only meet, twice a year. Kings have gone under in 6 of their last 7 games on the road and 8 of their last 10 games overall. Kings are 5-12 to the under this season on the road. And for Tampa Bay, they have gone over in 6 of their last 10 games. They're coming off of a big time loss, of course, to Boston. Remember, 7-3 3 days ago. Before that, they did beat struggling Minnesota 4-1. They lost to hot Winnipeg 4-2, and they beat the mediocre Canadians 4-3. For the Kings, are coming in on a losing streak right now, no doubt. I mean, playing their worst of the season. I've tried to hype them up all year, but no doubt on a losing streak at this point, including to some not great teams. They just lost to Washington to start this road trip. They lost at home against Detroit. They lost at home against Toronto, at home against Edmonton. They lost to VGK. So not feeling real comfortable. You got a team with a losing streak against a team that they always lose against. Salty says Tampa. Jeff says Tampa turning it around. I got to go with Tampa at this point. I hope the Kings can resurrect it. I believe that the talking heads will say that the Kings will turn it around tonight. I think they will be on the Kings tonight in this matchup. But I think series history. Look, again, this is when I talk about 11 of the last 12 meetings. I mean, that's basically 6 years of games. So, but there's, again, I always say things about the travel, the way a team has to prep for a game, where they stay, how they practice at a place, where they are in a road trip, kind of play the same teams or the same routine a little bit. It just hasn't worked out. We know Tampa Bay has been a lot better in the past, and maybe the Kings haven't been this good, but you do have a struggling Kings team against a resurgent Lightning team. So we'll try Lightning here tonight. Okay, well, the Sharks are at the Maple Leafs. Can't lay 480 when you could have laid 315. I don't know if you could have laid 315. I don't know if I could have laid 315. The markets say there was a 315 out there when this line first opened. But hey, unless you're all hyped up and ready to go on your Toronto Maple Leafs here, I don't even know when that was necessarily or where that was. I guess I could look it up. I saw it earlier, that's all. Couldn't have been any real. I also might be thinking about a different one-sided game. So let's ignore the open there and just get with the preview. We know what's going on here with the Sharks on the road here against the Leafs in this one. Sharks come in with just 9 wins on the season. Toronto's got 20 wins on the season. Man, that doesn't feel like a team should still be rated a 480 favorite. And it's going to be hard to find a way on the Sharks. Maybe I try to flirt with a 2.5 goal line again here. Just can't lay the Leafs at this point. So probably should try to get involved with the total here, I would guess. These are the games that might bump out of there one day. Toronto has gone under in 4 of their last 5 games, and the Sharks have gone under in 4 of their last 5 games. Toronto's gone under in 6 of their last 7 games. The Sharks are 8-12 to the under on the road. I will mention though, Toronto is 12-6 to the over at home so far. Sharks are on a losing streak right now as they hit the road here. They just lost 3 in a row at home to Toronto, Winnipeg, and Detroit. Before that, losing and more losing often by the puck line. They did cover the puck line against the Jets. For the Maple Leafs, they come in here with a 3-game winning streak currently with wins on the road. Remember, they had a great trip out west at LA, at Anaheim, at San Jose, and won them all. So coming off the game against the Sharks, so a little bit of a back-to-back here was just 3 nights ago that Toronto won 4-1 in San Jose, first meeting of the season. So wrap up the series here tonight. And Fernando says maybe first period over. Jeff says he will take the Sharks on the puck line. I kind of want to be like Jeff. I mean, I just do not want to ever lay 480 in a professional sporting event. It just feels like to me it's just very, very hard, right? Because of over 6, Sharks get 2. I'm down with that, Salty. I think I'm going to go over. Like I said, San Jose. Um, you're always worried, right? That's where you got to go. You got to get to San Jose and try to get 2 goals out of them. Because if it's 480, it's going to be at least 4-2, right? If not 5-2. I mean, we got to get to that 7th goal here. And there's a lot of 6 overs out there now, and maybe that's also what Salty was saying here. Yeah, it's juice to the over -25, -31, -30, -25 at stations on the app here. I see. But I think now that you can get modestly priced 6 over. That's what I'll do. I'll take the over with the Sharks and the Leafs. That keeps me away from that ugly number. And let's move on to the Canucks taking on the Islanders here. The Islanders $1.30 and the total 6.5 under 30. Oh, all right. Just gotta fix something here. Okay. All right. So Vancouver and the Islanders here. Here's where I start to talk about my intro to the show here. Maybe I'm going to be on a few too many overs, it feels like today, or I'm going to take the Grand Salami over today because I'm probably going to go over with the Canucks and the Islanders. 5 straight meetings between these two have gone over. This is an East-West Conference series. We know that. But the last 5 games they've played here at the Islanders have also gone over. So maybe I want to feel like the over. It's not so much about the series history for me. I do want to point it out, however, that these two teams have been pretty much automatic over when playing each other anyway. But I would think that the talking heads are mostly going to be on the Islanders in this one. They're 18-11, and they are favored here against the hot Canucks. I mean, no doubt about it. Canucks have been pretty great. They've won already the last 2 games here to the metro area, just hanging out in New York. They beat New Jersey 6-4. They beat the Rangers 6-3, and they complete the sweep against the Rangers. They did lose to St. Louis to start this trip in a strong performance by the Blues in that game, as I've mentioned before. But this is a rematch of the 19. I'm so old, but this was like a Stanley Cup Finals once when I was like 14 or 15 years old. I think it was 1982 that the Islanders played the Canucks, and they whitewashed them pretty much. The Canucks had the jersey with the big V. Want to say hello and shout out to Larry here today. Nice to have you. Appreciate you. All right. And hello to Richie Vegas. Welcome here today. All right. Salty does have his comment here. He Canucks put up 6 on the Rangers in that game. Yeah, they've scored 12 goals in those last 2 games. I guess Salty and I are on the same page. He says over again. And that's the way I want to go as well. The Islanders, both these teams are 24-14 to the over this season, with a couple of pushes in there on each side, I think. But strong overs. Islanders 14-5-2 to the over on the road. Vancouver 14-5-2 to the over on the road. The Islanders 11-8-2 to the over at home. So let's go ahead and take the over in this one. Vancouver and the Islanders. All right, over from Salty and I. Hey, Daryl Turner. Hello, nice to have you here today. Happy New Year. All right, the Blue Jackets are going to take on the Jets here in this one. Got another one-sided game with the Red Hot Jets coming in, 250 favorite here in this one. They've won 5 straight, 7 of their last 8 games at home as well. Coming into this one, just hot, hot, hot are these Winnipeg Jets wins here. They're coming off a road trip where they were beating teams like San Jose, Arizona, and Anaheim, but that's okay. Before that, they beat Tampa Bay here at home, and they beat the Wild on the road. Blue Jackets, though, we've been riding this Blue Jacket uh, puck line train a little bit. They're 14-4 on the road against the spread on the puck line. You know what I mean? And also, they have covered the puck line their last 5 trips here into Winnipeg. You know, we're going to take the Blue Jackets again. We can't help ourselves at this point. As a dog, they're 25-12 as a puck line underdog. Winnipeg has been a team that actually covers their puck line, so that has to be considered. But consider Columbus has covered 5 times in a row here. Now that's over 5 years, no doubt about it. 3 or 4 or 5, 4 years, 4 years, 5 years. And for Winnipeg, they're 14-6 on the puck line at home, but yeah, a decent number here, 18-8 as a puck line favorite. They're just a good puck line team, but I still going to roll with Columbus here at a pretty decent price too. Don't forget, you're getting them at minus $1.25 or $1.30. It feels like to me. Maybe some concerns for you in goal. I think. Let me see if we have any updates with this one. Maybe Elvis will be in the building after all against Hellebuck. I'm showing one site with Elvis and another one here, I believe, with Tarasov. So I'm going to end up on Columbus here, no doubt about it. And oh, no problem, Daryl. I wasn't too. I thought maybe Ron was in the chat. Call me whatever you want, even Larry. All right. Ducks and Predators in this one. We've got the Preds here. Big favorite at home, 225. Maybe even higher at this point. I'm showing maybe a lot of 225s out there. This total, though, looks like it is dropping here a little bit. I'm showing a 6 over 20 right now at Bovada. Still mostly 6.5s out there, but juice to the under. Similar to this one. So, yeah, maybe a move on the under, but I'm not sure if that's the way this one's going to go. Could be Gibson in there, but Dostal has been playing pretty well, so I'm showing conflicting sites. Now, he doesn't have great numbers this season, but I think we've seen improved play from Dostal, even if the numbers don't necessarily show it. Could use another. Gibson gets so much work, but not that Anaheim can prove it in the win column though. At this point, I mean they're on a losing streak. I get that. I'm just trying to point out some chances here, maybe for Anaheim in this one, but it's going to be another over for me here. I'm pretty sure the way. Hopefully, I need the goals out of Anaheim. That's going to be the issue for me here. But if the Predators are in form and can get a solid victory, because Anaheim's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games and they're on this losing streak. Nashville, though, has won 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams at home. They've also won 6 of the last 7 meetings overall. Anaheim's played okay, though, here at Nashville. They've gotten the puck line in 4 of the last 5 trips here. They also won the first meeting at home 3-2 against Nashville back on November the 14th. But Nashville had been on a winning streak of 4 games before that against the Ducks. Puck line, Jeff. They're on a puck line roll here. Almost any puck line I give is worth a small sprinkle, depending on how you're playing your game. I mean, even at plus 60, I can go +1, +1. And if I'm taking a big bet on it, I mean, these are show picks, so these are going to be more casual plays. These aren't my strongest, right? But even in a big game, right, Jeff, the way I look at it now, if we're playing, just pizza money to have a big card, I play a little more than pizza money, but I play the landscape, so it all adds up in the end. My card will have as much as anybody on there. It just won't be big bombs, right? It's going to be a lot of plays, a lot of all over the card. But if I was just a casual fan, I took $100 bill and said, "Hey, I'm going to take Columbus." I might take a little bit of pick'em. I might take a little bit of -1.5, -1.5. I might take a little of +1.5, +2.5, and kind of balance it out. If it was like the big game where I was focused on one game, but I understand what you're saying too. Appreciate you though, as always, Jeff. I don't think it was even a question, but just want to explain my philosophy a little bit. I mean, when I'm giving out a road team, they going to have a chance to win. I'm trying to say they probably have the best value in it as well. It's still a pro sporting event. Again, if we want to be super conservative, like I said, I try to give out only things that we sell on Tony's picks as the premium picks, if you know what I mean. But so in a game like the Sharks, where maybe if I would take the Sharks here on the show, I'd give them out at +1.5. Privately, I might take them +2.5 at -$1.40 or $1.50, whatever it is. If I felt like the Sharks were going to have that slightly good enough effort to play just competitively enough right now as the worst team in the league. So all that has to be considered. Appreciate that, brother. All right. Next up, we're on the over in this one, by the way. As I said, and again, you can get six over juiced right now with the Ducks and Predators. So, but again, I'm looking at overs here today. I'm going to go over in the Grand Salami. Is it out yet? It is. And Bet Online looks like it's got the best for me here. 64.5 at Circa, 64.5 at South Point, but 63.5 minus $1.25 at Bet Online. So I'm going to take the over in the Grand Salami today as our special hockey bet. I'll take over 63.5 minus $1.25. I do want to mention one other thing here real quick. I'll take off the hockey graphic, but a game that was requested earlier on the show, on the basketball portion of the show. We talked about it, but I just want to mention it now, and naughty me, but the total on the Creighton DePaul game is moving over right now. There is steam coming in on that game currently. I did recommend the under, so hopefully nobody got too excited with me and ended up hitting it there and getting the worst of it. Apologize. I didn't know that they'd be pushing the over here on this one. Obviously, some folks must be thinking that Creighton's going to be putting up the big number. I don't see much movement on the side there, 15.5, but the total's up to 144 at this point. And juice to the over at Bet Online. Okay, let's return to the hockey action here and get the show over with. We're winding down here with the Panthers and the Blues on the road here. And Panthers going to be a pretty big favorite. They've been pretty hot of late. Really one of the talks of the league right now is how well the Panthers are playing and looking like a strong playoff contender. Florida's won 5 straight, but the Blues continue to be pretty competitive, especially at home. Total has gone under in 5 straight for the Blues, and the total's also gone under in 7 of the last 8 on the road for the Panthers. The Panthers are 7-15 to the under on the road. The Blues are 6-20 to the under as an underdog. They're also 13-25 to the under overall, and they've gone under in 8 of their last 10, and the Panthers have gone under in 7 of their last 10. I want to go over, you guys. I want to go over in this game. Talk me out of it. I don't know if you can. I'm basically going to throw my notebook aside here probably and end up on the over in this one. Look, the steam has come rolling in on the under, I think, here. Let's see what the move has been like. So I think I'm probably even getting the best price in this one. I'm sure everyone's going to think under here. 6 over 20, pretty much at everywhere. In fact, look at Bovada, 6.5 under 22. So for teams that play so many unders, this is a pretty high total. I don't know if that I'm trying to say, hey, that's the indicator or anything like that, but I guess this might be, I don't know. If it comes down to it, it ends up being close on my little foray into a grand salami today. It feels like this could be the make or break. Now, granted, if I'm giving out the grand salami, there better be 70 goals out there today. When I'm giving out a pick, we do it with confidence. But if this one ends up 2-1 tonight, maybe this one will be the one to get me. But I'm going over here in this one. It's mostly St. Louis at home that I would trust here to be able to uh, get the necessary 2 or 3 goals that we're going to. Three obviously would be optimal here. I don't know if it's a great price on Florida, despite the winning streak currently. They've also covered the puck line in 4 straight games. This is the 4th straight road game here with some tough games that they've played on this streak. They beat Arizona on the road 4-1. They beat VGK on the road 4-1. And of course, they had that wild one with Colorado. We did give out the over on that game, 8-4 on uh, Saturday, I think it was. All right, so throw the trends out the window for me. I'm going with the over in this one. Okay. All right. Salty's with me here a little bit. Like I said, this is the feels like the make or break game. St. Louis, 2 wins in a row here. Low scoring games that they won, no doubt. We talked about that game in Vancouver like 5 times over the last 3 days, and they came back and beat Carolina on the road 2-1. And they haven't gone over in a week or two or this year, but need the Blues tonight to play a good game and get 3 goals, and I'm going to be Mr. Contrarian in this one. All right, want to say hello to Doubles. I think was here, but I think I see some good conversation there going in. All right, let's move on to the Oilers and the Blackhawks here in this one. And here you have another big, big favorite. I think this is the one that maybe because the Oilers on the road were, yeah, they were the ones that I was talking about. They were minus 315 at Bet Rivers yesterday at about noon Eastern. And I don't know how that happened, but even a 345 at Parks later on at 4:30 in the afternoon. So could have had a chance to get on some pretty interesting numbers here with the Oilers, and now you got to lay like 450, maybe a little bit less, maybe 430 at some spots, but I can't do it, man. I mean, that's another one where maybe I just try to find a way to play these Blackhawks here in this one, and well, maybe under could be the side that I would look at. Maybe I should take the total because hard to give out these Blackhawks right now. Bedard, uh, could the Blackhawks play better without Connor Bedard? Look, they beat Calgary 2 nights ago without him 4-3 at home. Um, you know, not that there's pressure on the young man, not that maybe he needs more work out there. Maybe he needs to bulk up a little bit. That was kind of a glancing blow. Granted, I mean, anybody get hit in the face, um, you know, could get, a broken jaw like he has, but they won that game. So, and before that, they were on a long losing streak. Edmonton, meanwhile, certainly on a roll right now again, and they've won a winning streak here right now. Let's see, 5 straight on the road, covering the puck line in each one of those. Now, Chicago has gotten the puck line against the Oilers. He's the last 5 trips in here to Chicago. This is the second meeting so far this season between these two. Edmonton won 4-1 at home in the first meeting. Five of the last six meetings here in Chicago between these two have gone over. It's Edmonton that's been a pretty big over, of course, this season, going 20-15 to the over. Chicago 17-22 to the under. Kind of neutralizes that just a little bit, but you see the high total here in this one. Edmonton would have to score the goals, and Chicago would not. So I just say it like that. I mean, I know that's obvious, but I'm also kind of trying to tie in my grand salami here that maybe, just maybe, at least Edmonton get a 4-2 victory here. I think the price is still too high. I'm going to take the Blackhawks plus a goal and a half. Yeah, maybe I'll take them plus 2.5 when I actually get to the window for the bulk of my wager here on this one, but can't lay this price even with Edmonton's winning streak. With the dominance, just feels like the breaking point for me in this game has got to be about 350. If I'm just trying to be honest with myself and not wanting to lay big favorites all the time, yeah, if I'll put in parlay with Edmonton and some of this other big chalk like Toronto or something, hey, I'm always looking to have a little fun. So, uh, Jeff, I do bet some team totals. I just don't give them on here on the show. Like I said, just talking about what we're talking about, giveaway. Talk about just what the products are on Tony'sPicks.com, pretty much. That's available for sale here. So, all right, Doubles, our Chicago correspondent, says that this is a problem. He thinks that Bedard, like I said, they won the last game without Bedard, and there's no doubt Bedard, like everybody said, I mean, can't miss prospect. Bedard will go on to be a great player. I think we all agree. Hall of Famer possibly here, no doubt. You don't see players like this flop in their careers, in hockey especially. The players who are touted usually go on for long-term success. That's the way it works in hockey. You can't find. Name some people out there, folks, in the chat, if you think you've got some of the biggest high drafty hockey flops. First picks maybe. I'm sure you guys can come up with some, but and maybe I'm just leaving it at the super over the top hyped, right? The all time greats. Bedard has been touted like some of the top stars to come into the league over the last 10, 15, 20, 25 years, even. Um, those players often go on to great success. So we'll say it once again, and I'll just take the Blackhawks here, plus the goal and a half on the show. Oilers on a roll, though. I mean, Oilers absolutely crushing. Give them their due here. All right. Next up, Senators and Flames. We got two games left here. The Flames at home, $1.35, 6.5 over 30, maybe getting up to 6.5 over 35. Maybe a little bit of move here on the over, and you know why? Because I'm going to go probably over in this one. These two teams are combined 41-31 to the over so far this season. 10-8 to the over as an underdog for Ottawa, but 11-9 to the over as an underdog, as a favorite for the Flames. Might not tell the real story. These two teams have been going under, certainly of late. Calgary 2-8 to the under in the last 10. Ottawa 3-5 to the under in the last 9 games. But again, maybe bucking the trends here a little bit for me, because I want to go over in this one. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two have gone under, and 5 of the last 6 Calgary home games have gone under as well. But Ottawa, they've given the Flames a little bit of a tough time covering the puck line in 7 of the last 10 meetings, often as an underdog against the Flames. This is a second meeting this season. Ottawa won at home 4-1 in the first meeting. Ottawa comes in on a 3-game losing streak right now, all road games. They lost at Vancouver 6-3. They lost at Seattle 4-1. They lost at Edmonton 4-1 as they've toured the Pacific Northwest here a little bit. but I've got to go over here tonight. If Calgary is going to put up a decent number, now look, the Sharps are all over Ottawa. Um, who knows why at this point. Yes, Calgary's lost two in a row, but again, they were on the East Coast. Yeah, maybe first game back is kind of tough. They actually won their first two games of the road trip at Minnesota and at Nashville. Two decent teams, Minnesota, but Nashville pretty good. Then they lost at Philly and they lost that game at Chicago. But here, I'm going to end up on the over. Flames get back at home here, and I'm laying a big price. It's not going to be a premium, 6.5 over 30. Other than that, it's grand salami. Yeah. In fact, well, here's the thing, Jeff. Wayne Gretzky was not drafted by an NHL team, actually. He was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers of the AHL or the WA. What were they? What were they? What were they called? The WHA, right? I should know that. I mean, that league was kind of like uh, the league that I kind of followed as a kid. I followed WHA. A little, I mean, NHL too, but I was in a WHA city, so I didn't even know the difference. I'm like, 7 years old, 8 years old, whatever it was. My city had a WHA team for a brief moment. All right. Give me the over there as part of our situation here tonight with the Grand Salami. Maybe I just like saying Grand Salami. All right, last one here, Bruins and Coyotes. Hey, pretty good game, right? Look at the line. That's not the right line, though, is it? No. Turn off the autopilot here a little bit. Let's be real. But it is an interesting line, actually. Let's call it $1.50 because I see some $1.45s, see some $1.55s out there with Boston on the road here against the Coyotes. So we'll round it to $1.50. Total 6 juice to the under here, mostly $1.15. I do see some $1.20s here in Vegas with Boston coming in here to take on the Coyotes. Boston has won 20 of the last 21 meetings with the Coyotes, including 10 of the last 11 games in Arizona. It's been one of the biggest dominations of any series in all of hockey since Arizona's basically come into the league. Total has gone under in 13 of the last 18 meetings between these two teams in Arizona. But again, an infrequent series nonetheless. I think that might be almost the whole history of the Coyotes, it seems like. Total has gone over in 4 of the last 6 meetings, however, between these two teams. Arizona is 21-17 to the over this season, including 15-9 to the over as an underdog. Boston, meanwhile, has gone over in 7 of their last 10. You know what I'm saying, Grand Salami folks? Boston comes in here having lost 2 of their last 3 games. They do sport a pretty good record, of course, 24-8-6 currently. Coyotes over 500, 19-17-2. The Coyotes come in here having lost 3 straight, however, not looking too great at home against Florida, against the Islanders, against Winnipeg. All multi-goal losses here all of a sudden against, some okay teams, some good teams. I mean, Florida's on a roll. The Islanders have been okay and playing maybe better, but Winnipeg certainly playing pretty well as well. Arizona, though, 12-8 at home, but note just 18-16 as an underdog. They seem to win the games they're supposed to win, and they don't win the games they're supposed to lose. So. And so Salty says, look, don't forget, back-to-back from last night for the Bees. And they'll get it back, though. He says, losing in that shootout to the Wild here. Losing to the Avalanche in overtime, right? Yeah, in overtime, I think that game was. Shootout. Says it right there on the screen, Ramon. Boston lost in a shootout last night. I remember watching it. It was on during the football game, and I hit right at it right over here. I remember now. Privately, I bet Boston on the puck line there. You guys don't want to hear about in pocket plays after the fact. And it's easy to just say you won, but okay. Well, going to make the call here with the Boston Bruins. I mean, I have to agree with Salty. This is all based on, look, series history, Boston off a loss, um, Arizona obviously slumping, having lost 3 in a row. So I'm going to go ahead and take Boston. And you already heard me talk about a lot of those over trends on this game as part of our grand salami package today. So, although the series does tend to go under a little bit, in fact, the first meeting of the season, it was 5-3. Boston won in Boston. So let's get 8 goals. All right. I don't know if I go back that far, Salty. That would make me really old. Maybe before Montreal, what got me interested in the Montreal Canadiens? Ray, we're going. Ray, I'm giving out my pick on the Boston Bruins, sir. Please consider my premium pick package. Maybe you heard me talk about it, but didn't give out the total. I just talked about it a little bit, Ray. You probably can get the gist of where I headed. I will note, though, Ray, and the total in this game did start out like 5.5 over 25 or 5.5 over 30 for the most part. Take that information for what you will. I don't think you're going to find any 5.5. I'll look real quick, but I don't think you're going to find any 5.5. I guess I got a good number because I don't see any book on this screen that opened up a 5.5, and I've got the books, the books that I call out here on the show, to me are the most popular. I don't know, the most popular. I think to me, Circa in Vegas is my key book that I like to go off of. They brag about taking the biggest bets. I don't think they're BSing. I think they do have the sharpest line. I think most people agree with that. So we refer to it quite frequently here. It is the main book that is lit up. I have all the books are in white except Circa is in yellow. The guide, if you will. I do not use Pinnacle anymore. They have a big problem with dealing their line to a lot of people and making it available to even access with the line services. So, great job, Pinnacle, for many years. Gonna have to say, screw you guys. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that has been the standard of industry standard for years. There you go, Jeff. Industry standard for years, and for many people still is. I just don't use it. Circa is my baseline now, not Pinnacle anymore. So since I have one baseline, I've brushed aside Pinnacle. They cater to their customers, so I respect that, but again, so after that, the two main online books, I feel BOL, Bovada, I think those are the ones that, they might be square, but they seem to do the best job. Thank you, Poppy, for that. Chris, certainly. Another one, man, I can remember playing at Bet Chris back when the pages took 30 seconds to load. Not talking about Bet Chris, I'm talking every page on the internet took Intertops. Remember Intertops? Or they're still around, actually. I still play with Intertops, but I can remember being on an old MacBook, whatever they were called. I think they were MacBooks back then, and the thing would, you'd hit the button and wait like 15 or 20 seconds for that. And we're done with the show, everybody. You can go. DraftKings. Look, you can do FanDuel and DraftKings. Poppy, please, can you send me in a DM the mirror books in Vegas? Again, I didn't write it down. We were in the middle of the show. Can you send me the mirror books in Vegas? What they are for DraftKings and FanDuel. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think I know the DraftKings one. I just want to make sure. Maybe you guys even know and can put it. You can put it in the chat. I don't care. there, but I didn't write that down that day. And in Vegas here, I do also follow the South Point and the stations because they're the closest to me. Thanks a lot, you guys, for joining me here on the Morning Steam. Actually, Circa also, though, Circa is building one right here down the street at the Silverton. It's going to give me a Circa in-person book just 10 minutes away. So really excited for that. All right, that's going to do it for me here on the Morning Steam. We'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday. Hey, catch me later today. You guys can find it on one of my channels here that I share with my MMA handicapper, and we're going to preview this week's MMA card with a VB. So I think I could say that. VB says Tony's often said I do a show with an MMA show. I think we could mention that here. Please look it up today on YouTube. Going to be with VB back together again for a third year of VB MMA picks. We'll be ready for this week's card. So please join me for that as well. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining me here on the Morning Steam, and we will be back tomorrow with more action. Thank you so much. And thank you. Hey, one more thing as we get the music going a little bit here. Easy, but I know the lyrics now. I know thanks a lot of
Can it be showing up with Tony T? Yes, Ramon SEO. To the double T befuddling these bookies like 1, 2, 3. They tapping out and we cashing out. It's plain to see. The morning steam is the A-team, Mr. T. And I pity the fools who can't hang. Coming with real game is sort of a freight train. It's been reported bank rolls are easy to maintain. So get situated and